Hello, this is Roland. Just stopping by to make a little video here at the end of the year and tell you what I have that's new for over 30 years. Actually, 33 years now. I've been talking about meditation. A very simple meditation, the purpose of which is to reunite you with your Creator. See, it's one thing to talk about God, to talk about truth, but it's another thing to actually experience God. But the goal is not to experience God. What is the goal? The goal is to find your long-lost parent, the parent that you've never known, the father you've never known. Now, we all have had an earthly father, and many of our earthly fathers did reasonably well, and they tried to stand up against tyranny at home and abroad. They tried to do the best they could for you. They went to work. They put up with a lot of crap. And to that extent, they did rather well. And they sometimes had some words of advice for you. I remember when I was, I think, maybe 5 years old, my dad got me something for Christmas. And I cherished it. It wasn't something that my mom got for me. She got me a lot of stuff. But this was something my dad got for me, and I cherished it. So there's something special about dads, isn't there? But what's happened is, and it happens in every family, father somehow fails. A little bit or a lot. Mostly a lot. And you have to forgive him, though, because he doesn't know. See, the world was too much for him. Your mom was too much for him. He did the best he could, and then he failed. So you have to forgive him. Don't resent your dad. If you resent your earthly father, then you can't find your heavenly Father. So don't resent him. Appreciate the good in him, and don't resent where he failed. And if there was no good in him at all, some of us had dads that were no good, then don't resent him. But you can still appreciate fatherhood and respect fatherhood. In other words, just because one judge is no good doesn't mean that, we shouldn't respect the law. You see what I mean? So if your dad failed, all right. So the problem is that people have tempted you to judge them, see, or to have contempt for them, or to feel superior to them, or to feel sorry for them, or to have a grudge against them. Now, a lot of people have a grudge against their dad. And it leads to all kinds of problems. So that's the number one thing you can do, is let go of that. Grudge against your dad. Just see that he couldn't help himself. And see also that he didn't find it. I remember many years ago, there was a lady who used to listen to my radio program in San Francisco. And there were issues between her and her husband. So we met one time. She wanted to talk about, the things that I talk about on the radio. And I said, well, your husband, I said, is he a bad guy? Is he taking drugs and doing alcohol and all kinds of stuff? No, he's a very decent man. He's a good man. Then I said, well, then what's the problem? She said, there's something missing. There's something missing that I want from him. Some kind of, she didn't put it in these words, but I know what it was. What she wanted from him was agape love, emotionless love, fatherly love. And she said he just doesn't have that. And so I've always kind of resented him. She admitted it. And I said, look, I said, the reason that he doesn't have that kind of love for you is because he never found it himself. He doesn't have it. And he can't give it to you because he doesn't have it. In fact, he himself is suffering. Long time ago when he was a little boy, someone was cruel to him, mean to him, teased him, pressured him. And he became upset and angry, and he lost it. See, the love that we need, it's not really from the earthly father. It's from the heavenly Father through the earthly father. So I said, don't resent him. He can't give you what he doesn't have. And that was an epiphany for her. She suddenly got it. She suddenly realized it. That he doesn't have it, so he can't give it to me. And from that moment on, she was able to let go of her grudge against him, and everything improved dramatically. So I think that's a good word of advice. All right, so why am I making this video? Well, I want to tell you about my new book. I really do. I've written a lot of books over the years. Oh, and I have another new book. Oh, I'll tell you about the other new book that's not quite ready yet, but will be soon. You want to know what the title is? It's called Roland on Relationships. It's a collection of some of my best articles on relationships. Did you want to hear some of the titles of the chapters in the book? My wife cheated on me, now what? My husband and I argue all the time. I cheated on my wife, should I tell her? Children. How to help your kids succeed. What else? How to forgive and forget. What is love? Oh, here's another one. The question, are there no good men left? And I answer that question in the chapter. So it's about relationships. Oh, it's really good. It's the best of my articles on relationships, and that's probably the thing that's the most popular. The most of my books that I've sold have been on relationships, and I've written some good ones. I haven't talked about it a lot lately. You've probably noticed, those of you who watch my YouTube videos. I'm mainly talking about meditation and about spiritual writers like Madame Guyon or Miguel Molinos, things like that. But relationships, that's really, I guess, probably one of the things I really do the best, if you want to know the truth about it. So why haven't I talked about relationships much lately? I don't know. I haven't been moved to. But I was on this video. You saw how I began talking about relationships. So now getting back to the topic. So that book will be available soon, and you got to get it. If you have any issues with your partner, if there's any unfinished business between you and your parent, if you're a kid and you wonder why your parents argue all the time, stuff like that. It's just really good. It's very good. And it makes a great gift too. If you have a son or a daughter who's thinking about getting married. Oh, I have another chapter. It's called How to Find the Right Marriage Partner. Oh, and another chapter. It's called, the title of the chapter is My In-Laws Are Ruining My Marriage. So as you can see, it's good stuff. But I don't want to talk about that now. You can watch for it. It'll probably be available within a month. Now I want to talk about the book that I just published. It's called Contemporary Contemplation, with reflections on Miguel de Molinos. It's a very nice book. Oh, what I was going to say is, of all the books I've written, this one actually has had people who were waiting for it. So it's very good. And it's unique because it's actually two books in one. I wrote a book called, it started off as the introduction, and it ended up being a small book. called Contemporary Contemplation. And then you also get a complete edition of Miguel Molina's Spiritual Guide. You get both. And it's just really, really special. So if you want a book about contemplation, or if you want to read some spiritual writings of Miguel Molinos, then you ought to get it. It's just excellent. How do you get it? Well, you can get it at Amazon right now in paperback. It's available. Very handsome book. But it's not quite available in Kindle. My son is working on it, maybe a week or so. But you can get a PDF version of it for me. All you do is you go to the website, sheddingshackles.com, and then you can make a donation of any amount. Any amount. Big or small, mostly small is what I get. It can even be very small. You make a small donation of any amount, and using PayPal, and then I will send you the PDF of the book. The book is over 260 pages. Or is it 360? I'm not sure. It's a big book. It's very nice. So I recommend that you get that book if you like that topic. Yeah, so that's today's little video. Got to have courage. That's the other thing I want to say. I was reading a quote this morning, something about how tyranny, it said tyranny uses force and fear. Well, isn't that what you're seeing now? Force and fear. They want everybody afraid. You know, the sky is falling. They scare you with the latest variation of the boogeyman. They scare you. And they want you afraid, so you'll do what they say. It's tyranny. Benjamin Franklin, when he was coming out, there's a famous quote, when he was coming out of the long meeting where they actually made the Constitution of the United States. They worked at it for a long time. There was a book called, forget the name of it, but it was by Catherine Drinker Bowen. A beautiful history book. She was quite a historian, she was. And it's about the Congress, the making of the Constitution. Fantastic book. But anyway, Benjamin Franklin was coming out, and somebody on the outside went up to him and he says, "What kind of government?" See, everything was up in the air. And the person said, "What kind of government do we have?" And Benjamin Franklin said, "You have a republic, if you can keep it." Well, now, you see, that's it. We have a republic. Can we keep it? The forces are seeking to tear it down. It's that simple. We have a republic, if we can keep it. So we need all the courage that we can have. All the courage that we can have. So this is a big shout out to all the people who have the courage to express themselves and to give us another point of view on some very important issues. Your life and your family depend upon, especially if you're a dad or you're the mom and there's no dad, depend upon your making the right decisions. You need all the enlightenment, all the wisdom, all the information, and all the courage that you can muster. That's right. You need those. My name is Roland.